We want salute all our country people them for ground zero, ground one in the diaspora, all Southern Cameroonians. We welcome Una for another edition of Town Hall Hour, our educative, informative, and mobilization program for Southern Cameroonians. For this show, we don't always tell Una, we bring Una truth, we bring Una education, we bring Una information on a non-partisan basis. We're not there here for promote any one group or any one individual. We're there here for sensitize the people of Southern Cameroons for the flag and for the motherland. So again, I did this week with my regular co-host, Dr. Edmond Folefak. Hi, Doc. I know we did last Sunday. How everything go?
Yeah, no, we get some good show with our women, the women of the revolution. And I will be very privileged for host them. And I think if people that were not be fit watch that show live, may they go back, go see what you were women the fit do. But may I start off by greeting our people there for Ground Zero, the one there for Inside Bush, the one there for Kondegi. And the people that were there for Street, for tell them say we are closer to the finish line than everybody fit think. Amongst all the chaos, where it go on apparently, where people see there is some order, where it takes shape. And I think say you look much fresher. They're like that last week, you will need that last week of. So that is also good at some point, yeah. And then we need to also congratulate your Baba, right? Congratulate your Baba.
I know say we dey war, but this our war. We need to fight them now under the banner of Makiza. I know they for Afghanistan. I know be Mujahideen. I know be Hezbollah. I know be Makiza. So thank you, sir. We notice. So I will decide to put on a new look, while I can. But thank you. It go grow back now. Now one thing that way God gave me, my head grow too fast, and at the point I just become tired. At this age, I know therefore to do Rasta. But thank you, Doc. Hopefully by next week, the head go down dark again. So yes, I think I'll be very happy. The feedback from the women, our sisters, our mothers, our grandmothers in the revolution, I think that a very, very important thing. We know say for a while there will be a lot of attacks on our women, a lot of smearing, a lot of very cheap blows taken at them for sideline them, because as mothers they will feel the pain more than the imposters, where they be just there for make their money, enrich themselves, photo ops, cameras, lights, and they nobody really feel. So they be do everything for sideline our women, so that they feel stay there, they continue to do their machinations. But fortunately, our fight don't get to the point where our women, they don't stand up, they rise up, and we the honest men, where we want the best for the land, would rally around them. And I think it will really be good for bring more of our women on this show to talk to our people, talk to their children, and sensitize them, and basically take over this revolution. We saw sorely miss our women in this. But for today, we get, I think, about 3 important things. So we'll go very, very fast on them, rapid fire. We want to start with a recap of town hall yesterday, because we believe that town hall yesterday will be very, very enlightening, very enriching, very informative. People then, when they know if you watch the town hall, if you go back either to SCBC Facebook page or to the town hall Facebook page and watch the show, it was really something. The town hall platform, as we always talk, now a platform for all Southern Cameroonians. So we will get guests them where they were once involved in that defunct SACO group, with all the scams and plots and machinations and manipulations and lies and deceit. Those SACO, they still try to hold on, despite the fact he be caught with his hand in the cookie jar. But that's what happens to scammers when there are no consequences they need to stop. You know, they try to rebuild and go on to the next gullible people. But the takeaways, Doc, I want, what will be your takeaway yesterday from that town hall?
You see, the takeaway, now one of the things, my first takeaway, I'm going to divide them into a few segments. The first takeaway for me was, as we always say people that know what they want, but the feet always be deceived. That was the first takeaway. In the sense that you see, not be all man will be involved with that cabal, be bad. In other words, there were kind of decent people in that cabal who thought they were doing exactly what that they were fighting in the interest of the revolution. But they just never really took the time to ask themselves really prompting questions until it became a little late. But we better late than never. That was one of the first takeaway. But the second takeaway, now really for me, the question of how it be possible, this is what was actually straining my credulity. How could everybody be so blindsided? I get into the situation where everybody did really listen to this guy, telling you to not believe your lying eyes or your lying ears. You see something really clear. Even the people that were there from outside, they see them, really clearly. What happened? Why did other people within there not really, why were they unable to see this? And then my third takeaway, and that's something we really have to still follow through, was that, along the line, there was still this confusion, when I say confusion or maybe this illusion, say the so-called breakaway faction where they don't come out now, one go from another same institution, and there's another same or continue with a faction of that same cabal, whether they still, the fact that they still believe that if it get anything out of that, that was a little bit for me, one of the things that would be a little bit, disconcerting to say the least, to think say this, these people, some of these people that are on jump ship, go stay for some place was the way that they lead that particular cabal. Because remember, the people that come yesterday talk to us, now really not like the prime movers of any one of these two factions that will run emerge. But I need them to be able to see that those people who are now talking about the likes of the Chris Anu, everybody will be there inside that big cabal, the Abongwars and stuff like that. You see, at some point, you have to come up and say, either it was incompetence or it was malevolence. I don't want to malfeasance. I don't want to infer the reasoning behind what they did. But either malfeasance or incompetence, there are two reasons why somebody where you feel really get a revolution like the one where they get into a ditch. And if you do that, you should excuse yourself, even if the people don't fire you. You should really excuse yourself if you have any honor at all. And so for me, I think these were the things that I wanted to, and our, the third was the fourth. You see really the how our people were so emotionally, some of the emotions were raw. At the back end, we had to really help people back. And it leads me to the fifth takeaway, which was the decorum of our people. So people, they feel this much pain, yet they are able to hold their tongue, yet they are able to communicate without being violently disagreeable, or maybe without insulting people. So it is that last part that made me kind of gave me a lot of hope for say, yes, maybe if we can begin to bring our people together, the other people Absolutely. Who are still sitting on the sideline should see that if you come, people are not going to eat you up. Our people will just listen to this and still be able to give you, to excuse you for all the foibles, or the incompetence, or whatever reason, or even if it was malfeasance, the fact that you have seen the light, the fact that you might have had an epiphany, and you decide to come back to the people and then to say these things out, where it will then allow us to be able to move forward and try to use that information we would not learn for the past for make the present and the future better. The fact that this is happening, I mean, to me, for me, that was the biggest achievement of that meeting. And of course, you know, I know say you talk about the degree of the rot. It is just each time that you think that we have sung that these people could sing no lower, you hear more and more of the rot. It is just really incredibly annoying and gut-wrenching.
Yes, I agree with most of which you talk, Doc, because I will take away the same thing. I will start from the fifth point where you bring about the decorum and the civility. You know, I think, say, at least on the town hall and generally, civility than the return to our discourse, you know. A lot of people, they be wonder, you know, why would not they bring back these same people then way they be allow this Sako cabal for use their names, you know, append their names to a fake structure we give the semblance of a genuine, you know, a leading group in our struggle. If you no be agree, why you no be honorably resign and leave? You know, than for say me we stay there, because even if Sakoni they listen to Una, everybody knew, you know, because now one thing where I know be like about the discussion yesterday, well, not just the discussion yesterday, a lot of these people that now where they jump the ship is plausible deniability. Everybody they claim now say because their name no be Sako, they no be know, or they were not there, or they were not aware. Everybody, oh, I know be know what will happen for this money, but everybody knew, everybody said it. My trip to Boya, everybody be know say money loss. Then when I go start another program, what an plant with LGAs for raise money, that one lost. Then when I go draft, the fighters, they be the camp town hall. That is one platform I know. In addition to audios and videos where they be put out on social media, telling our people, say this money where we not say we not raise, we need to see them. One of our fighters for Bui, after they be do that their reunion where he be talk, say see a single 25 franc for that struggle. He was found dead a couple of days later. So people knew. So no be like say they can't talk, say they no be know or they no be touch money. Yes, but why they be allowed their names? Why they be allowed me they append them to a structure which was a farce? Now the fact that, and the fact say they no one take responsibility, because this Marianta woman, where they parade as the new president, I don't know her, I've never spoken to her, I never ever see, I never meet her, I don't see a picture, that's about it, and I hear a voice of in an audio or something, that's about it. So there is nothing personal between her and me, but she was part of that structure. Now people then that way they be sit, allow, claim, say they were secretaries of this, secretary of education, under secretary of this. Chris Anu himself, the amount of lies and manipulation and hate and spewing division, he is part of that so-called new structure. The questionable characters, people that way they be there around Sako for their own self-aggrandizement, where everybody now they talk say, I be give my money, I be give my money. Yes, they be give them money because it be make them feel good. Few say they are ministers. Few say they are members of a government. Few say that them go rule Southern Cameroons. And so they append their names to a scam. If a 419 person can tell me, say, lend me your motor, where I know say he want go rob a bank, right? I'm not part of the robbery. Or not even rob a bank. I know say he want to take my motor for drive for go do something dubious. He want go traffic drugs, want go sell drugs. And I let you use my motor. Even if you not tell me, but I know say a dubious person. And I know say he use my motor, and I know say that runway you want go do so is not clean. I know if you talk say, oh, I don't know, now my friend, if you just borrow my motor, I be lending my motor every time, and if you get for go somewhere, if you get for go, you know, pick up something in motor, be the garage. Knowing full well, say there is an alert about this person's character and his dubious nature. And if you go claim plausible deniability, try for call police, report my car stolen. After I learned, say, he be user motor for go commit a crime. Wait, I'm not saying I'm a criminal. I knew before. But I continue to assist you, and then I want to say, oh, I know be no. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. So as when you talk, Doc, back to your point, either they were very dumb or I don't know.
No, what I was just saying is, you see, the Englishman talks a fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice. I mean, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I don't know whether you fool me 3 times or even me now. Whether if you don't fool me 3 times or 4 times, is this triple shame or four times shame or 100 times shame? Because the reason that he talks on, I say, everybody know, like if you not be know, then you're not even actually qualify for call yourself a leader, quote unquote, in this revolution. If you were not already able to spot the machination of these people 2-3 months or maybe 6 months into their tenure, you should have, but I really always still want to separate the people them into 2 groups: the leadership of that group and then the followership. And it brings me to the other thing what I already tell Amazonians, and then maybe this is one of the lessons, one of the critical lessons they should learn from this. I've always said, if somebody come for you, can tell you, say, give me money for the cause of Amazonia. But then when you come back, when it comes time for explain to you, what did the one do with the money or what did they do with the money, they tell you, say, be classified. Native. For Nigeria, will say, Ole, send him back. If the person cannot need your money but does not need your brains, your contribution, for actually tell them, wait for do. I only need your money, but I not need your ideas. Exactly. I mean, how dumb does the person think you can be? So, because the only time where I check, see where they do that thing now for slave, where slave he own now for go find, he just need for work, right?
Work, exactly.
You don't need to
ask questions, yes, exactly.
In the thinking or the process. So this is where I really have an issue. But the point I keep making, there is, everybody, for the people where they read where they read history, Hitler would not have been possible if there was no Hermann Göring, if there was no Joseph Goebbels, right?
Yes.
Especially Joseph Goebbels. Yes. Joseph Goebbels was the main architect for do propaganda. So the fact say somebody actually take away, can't tell me, say, the likes of, I would remember to talk about this parrot, Chris Anu, for all the criminality, Nai virtually single-handedly one of the most important people where he keep Sako alive. All right, Nai impugn will be inside the plot.
Yes,
for assassinate Agovc a character. Find out the reason. Yes. So for keep Sako alive, and it was very simple. The reason why they were doing it, the 2 of them had Chris Anu's brother in the BLM, torturing and murdering people in the name of fighting, the so-called Fee Marshal. And once it became clear that all of these things had, the emperor had no clothes, and the 2 of them had an issue, Chris Anu now therefore lead another group now for take these people out, for jump out now for go from his own faction. And our people get to really begin to ask the fundamental question, how are you even, for me, yes, you can see the wrong in Sako, and Sako is evil. But if Sako is evil, so too is Chris Anu. If Sako is an angel, so too is Chris Anu. I mean, you remember this guy, like Lindsey Graham, one set of Ted Cruz and Donald Trump. What is the difference between being killed by a poison or being shot by a bullet, right? You see that, because Ted Cruz is a very, very calculating, manipulative person for inside America, for their politics. A little bit more learned. Of course, Donald Trump be the throw oil bombs and throw a hand grenade everywhere. The rabble rouser, he not care. And so that's not the reason that Lindsey Graham be to compare them to a bullet and poison. Exactly the same thing with the two factions.
Yes.
The young lady where you talk, Marianta, whom I don't know as well, is these people that just find me. now for put
Yes.
as a placeholder.
Yes.
But again, you see, if this lady go in now and want for clean house, she would either be deposed or she would have to play ball. It's as simple as that. So Ambassador cannot fall for that crap anymore. If we fall for that crap, then we're not ready for freedom.
I agree with you, Doc, because it is the same Chris Anu platform, the same propaganda machine, the same everything that they are using, that they are standing on, and that they believe in, you know. And one thing from yesterday's town hall, I mean, one of our guests said it. Say, one takeaway: Southern Cameroonians, they want to come together. They want a conference. They want a conclave. Call it any name. They want us, especially in the diaspora, for come together and as a people charter a way forward. But one of our guests, we talk, say, he believes that this is the structure to lead such a move, and we get to fix the problem. And the reason why we bring these guests for town hall, and the reason why we talk about them for town hall hour, now make our people understand. Say, we try to understand. We want our people then to learn from these mistakes. We don't just talk, say, move on from Sako, forget about them, without learning. As we always talk, Doc, the structures, the right structures, no day in place. 5 years, 6 years into our struggle, into our liberation struggle, we still do not have the right structures in place. One. Number two, we don't get our people as mobilized and as together as they should be. So for people just say move on from Sako, and yet they try to create a replica. They do one copy and paste with the same characters where they just happen to fall out with Sako and the inner circle, will not take us anywhere. So we need to go back and learn those mistakes, get the right structures in place, get the right checks and balances in place, get the people, grassroots, from the grassroots bottom up in place, so that we can move forward. So now the reason that way we get this town hall on the subject we discussed yesterday, and the reason that way we talk about them again today for town hall hour, may our people then know, say, it is like when you do an autopsy, the person now already died, and the person be due for be buried. But before you want bury them, you do go do that autopsy. You do go examine that dead body for see where to kill that person, so that you feel use them for save the people the way they alive. If they start exhibit the same symptoms, where that person will be die, be the exhibit. That's why autopsies are done. So we be try to do a kind of autopsy.
And I don't say.
I will go med school. I will fail out. I will flung, but I will go med school anyway. So we try to do a kind of autopsy for understand those mistakes, those pitfalls, and who were those characters, and what we're supposed to look out for as we move forward. But we'll get to fix the problem. We cannot give up on this struggle because of one group. So, Doc, I will let you get the last word on this subject, and then we'll go pivot to what our people get to know next.
I just want actually for, and that's not the very important reason that for that structure why the always bring out. Because even if you bring angels and they descend to hell, it's very likely, say, hell will change them. They're not going to change hell. Hell will change them. So the most important thing for now, fundamental structure, most see two things. Learn from ANC. When ANC be the do all the activism, and the Western world was essentially against ANC because they were keeping the apartheid regime in place in the name of fighting, communism or whatever nonsense they made. Oliver Tambo was in London at the time, and they decided to make a very, very tactical switch, leveraging on the incarceration of Nelson Mandela. And they decide and said, okay, wait till we talk now, not just about Nelson Mandela, free Nelson Mandela, and everybody. Nelson Mandela became an unknown quantity before then outside of the struggle, outside of the ANC. Most people don't even know Nelson Mandela outside. Most people have never even, at that time, when the ANC begin to necessarily make that tactical switch and start talking about free Mandela, and Mandela became the symbol of all the people that were being locked up when being detained for political prison, as political prisoner. That became, that particular symbol for all of this, political prisoners. And the whole thing changed. There was a big concert that was held in a London stadium. Hundreds of thousands of people attended. Free Mandela. The concept took to Hollywood, to everywhere. Everywhere was free Mandela, free Mandela, free Mandela. In fact, when Mandela came out, he joked that many of you might never even have seen my face, or maybe seen my picture or whatever. This is me. Because people actually, so we have a situation like that. We had a leadership structure. The reason I'm making this is that La Republique gave us, in its machination, inadvertently gave us a gift by taking down by kidnapping our leaders. And the reason I'm calling it a gift is because we have some of the best people, Ayok and co, who are in character-wise, who have actually, for inside there, for all the suffering where they all suffer, they tell you, say, the only thing that the one is the freedom of Ambazonia, the independence of Ambazonia is not negotiable. Yet, if you get a structure where you call them, say, government, and that government, all thing way the people they do now for try to protect themselves, you can't work. When you have a government, necessarily there will be there will be an opposition. So first of all, Ambazonians again will disabuse themselves of this idea of government. Let's focus on finding structures, as we had said here before. Who are the best people in communication? Who are the best people in diplomacy? Who are the best people in defense? Who are our best legal minds? Let's bring these people together in these kinds of committee, form a liberation council as they get, where the people that go explore all these opportunities, including and most especially our people that will around be abducted and in jail, and come up with some communication, with something where it will allow us to meet to prosecute this war and help. So to me, that is the thing. So all this idea about government, all these things, Marianta can be the best angel. She is not going to do anything in that group if we are not looking for just mild incremental benefit. And at this point, we would need radical transformation. Those incremental benefit. For talk say it be better than Chris Arno. That is like, that's like saying comparing Lucifer and somebody will be a little bit better than Lucifer, but still evil. That's not going to happen. That's not going to save us.
Yeah, Doc. Maybe because we get a limited time. Maybe I think we go pivot, but I get your point about which you talk. So I think that the reason that way. For last town hall of February 19th, they will take a resolution, a committee day where they work on exactly the kind of structure where you talk about. We know from the meeting yesterday, say most Southern Cameroonians, they want a come together, a conference, a conclave, call it by any name. One of the members of this new group will be there on the town hall yesterday, Dr. Fidelis. He say, the group to be open to come in and let Southern Cameroonians, they make that decision of how we will move forward. So the town hall secretariat go try to play a part in reaching out and putting together what you will need for put together so that we can move forward, having learned our lessons and diagnosed, all those big mistakes. And we too get to take responsibility because a lot of people then they be know what you go on, they be tell them, say this is wrong, but a lot of people will say, no, maybe we just hold on together, maybe we just fix them. Why would I not join and then we'll go fix them from inside? And as you talk, you cannot go to hell and change the devil. Even if you are an angel, he's going to change you. So hopefully we people them their eye and clear. We need critical thinking. We need for speak up. We need for stand up, and we can trust, but we should always verify. Maybe we need to adulate people. This struggle is not about people. It's not about groups. If somebody is not right, you tell them, say they are not right. If they want to get rid of you, they get rid of you. You move on and you join the right side of history. If they no want change and they no get rid of you, you resign and you leave them. No allow yourself to be tarnished by some imaginary thing, say you can, you feel stretching a bended tree. It does not happen. The laws of nature are the laws of nature. We get for flow with the current. May we not try to swim upstream. So if something need to work, no feel say you get to be there because you think say you go change them. No. Hillary Clinton be talking. Say no before White House where people their characters is change. If you want Americans about the person Donald Trump is. Say it is not in the White House where character go change. Now in the White House where the character they come out. Because now you feel say you get this power and you're protected and insulated. So the real character they come out. So we get to be responsible and not outsource our liberation struggle. So, Doc, the next thing we Abuame will talk about, I go ask producer for play this video by Dr. Beseliken about Maslow, the Maslow Hierarchy of Needs. He don't do the rounds. This is not the first time we would see that video in Southern Cameroonian circles. And he talks, say, Southern Cameroonians, they don't understand. Say, the Paul Biya regime, basically France, they don't try to keep us at this lowest level of this Maslow pyramid of needs. And when you are there, you are basically destitute. And the only thing where it be important for you now for survive, that is they keep you on a survival level. So you don't get the time, you don't get the thought process, you don't get the energy, you don't even get the will to move up and improve yourself and your being, and for question, they destroy your esteem. So we feel say, we already get in mind for bring this up. But since this video we do the rounds, we think say, okay, may we explain to our people the importance of this Maslow hierarchy of needs. Why Dr. Bisile can be talk this thing, why it is circulate. And they mami them, they picking them for country, for village, for road, for Boya, for Mutengene, for Nkambe, for Bui, for wherever. Do they understand the psychology of keeping people at that level of survivor, which is something we get to include as a reason why we are fighting? Because for over 60 years, they don't attempt to keep us there. So I go ask producer Doc before we go into this very, if it be a little bit academic, but we don't want to make them academic. We just want our people then to understand the psychology of oppression, a little bit like what your friend Ferretti talk about. So producer, if you play us that now in French, but it be very short, and then we'll go try to explain from there and then move from there. Doc, producer, if you yes, thank you.
De la misère et de la famine. Comment peut-on justifier qu'un enseignant camerounais gagne le tiers de ce que gagne un enseignant sénégalais? Comment peut-on expliquer qu'un médecin au Cameroun gagne 250 000, c'est-à-dire le tiers de ce que gagne un médecin au Rwanda? Ces deux pays sont-ils plus riches que le Cameroun? Non. Ça s'explique simplement par la pyramide de Maslow. C'est-à-dire que nos autorités veulent nous maintenir dans la famine, dans la misère, dans les besoins strictement biologiques. Et comme ça, nous ne faisons pas travailler notre matière grise. Mais il se trouve que les anglophones lisent autre chose que nous. Et que eux, ils sont tout le temps en train de lire l'évolution du monde. Et c'est pour ça qu'ils soulèvent des problèmes. Donc, ce n'est pas la faute des anglophones, ce n'est pas la faute des francophones. Il y a une équipe qui dirige depuis 1960 et qui s'organise pour que nous restions dans les besoins biologiques, c'est-à-dire au bas fond de la pyramide de Maslow. Et malheureusement, en faisant comme nous faisons là, nous ne nous développerons jamais.
Merci, Dr. Basileka.
Okay, thank you, producer. So, Doc, may we first tell our people this. Well, anyway, you go ahead. I don't talk plenty. Just give them a synopsis of what Dr. Basile can talk today. Just explain that video for those and where they don't understand.
No, I mean
French.
it's quite fundamental for English. I mean, this Dr. Basilike is just talking about, the
talk for broken grammar. Maybe we understand you, Doc.
Oh yes. So You see, now reason this one not one for those who will come as I say. So what basically what Dr. Basilike really talk now something where it be very, very not the most I think not the most fundamental concept that for life. See, if you make people that they be too poor, where everything where they think na chop, everything where they think na survivor, they're not going to fit even use their brain for think. It give example for talk say if you there for Rwanda, you be medical doctor, you the earn 3 times the salary for person where the end where there for Cameroon. If you there for Cameroon, you be teacher, you the earn 1/3 the salary for somebody where the same teacher way there for Senegal. And then he asked the question, say, but it no say Senegal and Rwanda, now the same country, now countries are at the same level with Cameroon. And it tells you this, so now the reason that we, even though they call and say Anglophones, but we Ambazonians, it does say this, so now we be the people that we don't really understand say this, so we don't understand the place where the world they go. We not think the same way our brothers east of the Mongol they think. So we don't know now say this, so it's not just we therefore liberate ourselves. That's what he's implying. Say that idea for continue for just maintain we under poverty for take them in slavery. Say we don't spot them. We don't get clear eye. We see them. Say this will not be the right thing that we get for happen. But as it implies, say we friend them or brother them for east of the Mongol, they never see them. They never still come to that realization. Even though the talk say not be their problem, I would think say I need to talk about a clique wait on the road Cameroon for 60. I mean since 1960, where they bring this where it basically come up with this idea with this structure where they keep people there for permanently for that level of survivor for get food. You know, I think the francophone them it be too soft on them because I think say their system they get a real part to play, and I know I don't always link this to France. So and I know say this so now France exactly what the Cameroon that they do for Cameroon. Where Cameroon, I mean, this they do for Cameroon. Now the playbook that way France get up. Because France do that playbook, it continue for do what the way it did do, then it will be easy now for you for find the most deplorable, the people that way they fit sell their mommy, sell their papa, sell their brothers and sisters for make small money for go sleep for BB hotel. They fit now those people that they get them for be ministers, for be leader in any position of leadership, and those people that now all thing way that they want now for take them for use some for their own little benefit, and then give the rest to their masters for France way. Now then they put them, now then they hold them in those positions, and it don't be So Otto, if you go ahead, but that is
yes. We'll come to the analysis, but I want to first take on step by step so that our people, you know, they really get the depth of what you explain. I want our producer put on the screen, share with our people so that if we make our people understand who is Maslow, right? And where this theory come from. And a theory where, you know, a lot of business, a lot of psychologists like Maslow himself, they don't come. Yes, thank you, producer. If you zoom in and put that one on the screen. So that now a little bit that about Abraham Maslow. He will be an American psychologist, and he developed this hierarchy of needs for explain human motivation. And it theory suggests say people then get basic needs, and until they satisfy those needs at every level, you need to move up to the next level. So there has to be a satisfaction. When you meet that first goal, it will now motivate you to go to the next goal. And when you meet that next goal, it will motivate you to get to the next goal. So Abraham Maslow, he believed, I think from 1908 to 1970, you know, he was an American psychologist. So I want me, producer, if you put the other screen.
Sure. since where you don't put this thing. So these physiologic needs for people that way they not be medicine people. Now people that are just things like chop, water, you know, and things like that. Safety in a housing, security, right? You know, self-actualization for you. And then now the concept for talk say I be a, you know, I be a lawyer, I be a doctor. I want to achieve certain things where they will write my name for history. Not be Doc, for the best hotel, but what I do for my people.
Doc, I want producer to put up the pyramid so that as well you explain, made that pyramid there on the screen. Producer, put on the pyramid with the white background, with the basic and all that, so that we feel really let our people know the other one first before this one, and then zoom on them. Zoom in on that when you put them, please, so that our people them they feel see and clearly. Yes, right. This one. If you feel zoom on this one, so that our people then they feel see and understand what Dr. Basili Kendi talk and where we are with this. So, Doc, if you go ahead, this is it where they say the first that the physiological. Yes, go ahead.
Right. And the talk said the first, not just the physiology, which is the eat, whatever you drink. All man know, we say when the talk, even Bomali, we talk say a hungry man is an angry man, right? Now the first thing that you gotta satisfy that first before you go to the next level. Once you don't chop, then if you start talk say, who's are the leaf? Wait to be my security, you know,
exactly.
Who if you protect me, I be safe, how many years I go live for this life and all of that stuff. How you feel provide me safety for sure? Say I live a long life and stuff like that. Then once you don't pass that one, now that time where you start think about love, you know, about relationships, about, you know, if you start think things like, okay, maybe I feel buy somebody flowers, you know, for sure you love. I feel buy
Doc, it did like so you get problems with your connection. So I could just take on from where you stopped. So the long and short of Weti Dr. Basili Kendi talk and Weti Dr. Edmond Bidi talk before a technical problems. Now say this pyramid, it just show where, okay, Doc, you don't come back. Sorry, you will go off. This pyramid, it just show off where Paul Biya, the tribe for Kipwe. So Paul Biya, since 1960, the French, through Ayijo and through Paul Biya, we see how they don't dismantle our government institutions, they dismantle our economic structure, they take away our power system, they take away everything to keep us completely dependent on them. And then they try to destroy our educational system so that all we would try to do now for survive. Because as we would see with our internally displaced, with our refugees, with our people, what did they want first? All man now they just try now to say, wait, we say if you get something for chop. Once you know you survive, you know you even worry about security. There is insecurity everywhere because it is now survival of the fittest. And that is where the one keep we. And until you don't until you don't chop, you get energy. You don't really worry about the security of your neighborhood, the thugs, the gangs, because you don't even survive. You just want make small window, you come out, go buy bread, go buy water, run, come back for house. And until you satisfy that, you need to even think about relationships. You need to think about, say, you go marry, you need to say, you start bumping. In fact, you need to even want born the picking them because you don't even know how you go take care of them. And so you get to satisfy one need before you go to the next one, before you think about school, before you think about careers. And in the meantime, your self-esteem, which you think about yourself as a person, it'll be diminished. And you only see yourself as a second-class citizen. And that is where they want to keep us. And so, Doc, before I come back for you, I want us producer to put that that man behind bars with the option of bread and key.
Nataro Ferrero put that one, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So this is where
of the oppressed.
Okay, thank you. If you feel zoom on this, so Doc, I want our people to understand, say that a Maslow pyramid of hierarchy of needs it explains this where we are. Because to me, this picture captures the essence of our struggle. We are so beaten, we are so broken. And that is why now we see all our people there now, all man, Francophone they call and say sardina. All man now want to eat bread for chop. Where the key to our freedom for us to liberate ourselves is right there. But we'll be so destitute, so broken. Say we just want to survive. Even if we are slaves, just give us bread. Doc, come in here. I beg, take this thing.
Yeah, and you know, like for historical context, you know that was something in the French Revolution, right? You know, one of the things that when you read them, where you talk about French Revolution, they said the price of bread was a thermometer, right? Because, you know, when the price of bread go up, all man will go back for out of the street. So the people that be all the thing where they be need for know, that be need to say, okay, in that kind of destitution, if we give you bread, we can actually get you to sell your brother. We can get you to sell your sister. We can get you, and the whole thing here, the bread here may not literally just be that bread where you see that person. Now, key that way that person fit take and open that jail go. Guards, they're not even there. But that person not fit, he don't know. Instead, he go reach now for the bread. Now, until that person chop that bread, he flop. Now, for that time where the person fit start talk, say, hey, but if he get out of that jail, and if he get, you see, right here, for inside America, where me and you day, for their own system, some people then they would around be beat up, get for jail. So when they move them, they bring them outside. They don't even want to stay for outside because they don't lose all that other Maslow thing from self-esteem and above.
Yes.
You know, they don't, they can no longer, they're not even be able to think about them for inside society. So they know that when they are in jail, they have bread, they have security, right? And you know, Machiavelli actually talk about this in The Prince, about using this actually as a tactic. So when you get people then, you beat them up so bad when you give them, but then if you give them reward, you give them reward na small. You give them reward na small. You take them, because then you fit tell somebody, say, if you not follow me, if you not listen to me, I go deprive you of that reward. I go deprive you of that bread. This is exactly where we are. You know,
and that's where our people in where they Yaoundé, and they're supporting this government, and those in the diaspora where they sell our struggle, they are looking at that bread. And this is the thing, Doc. The more we concentrate on that bread, while we keep ourselves in jail, in slavery, in servitude, as second-class citizens, the smaller that bread will become, because the oppressor will never increase your ration, but your population will continue to grow. And so because the bread will be smaller, more people, would it not turn against ourselves for destroy the weaker amongst us, so that only the fittest, the Njiatangas, the Njongutes, the what's her name, Lyongas them, where they Yaoundé.
You mean fittest in immorality, right?
Yes, because I mean survival, animal instinct is going to kick in. And so immorality is going to kick in. And then you see our people then now, they betray each other, they fight each other. But sometimes now, because that guy may be so hungry, so weak, he don't even get the energy for take that key, put that into the lock, and then turn the key. But that is where, since 1960, as Dr. Baselike talked for that video, they keep us in that state of basic survival. I want my producer play us that short video, Doc. It's about 2 minutes, where somebody they give an analysis of how they keep us there. That silent secret weapon of war. Producer, if you play us that video, and then Doc, we will come back and then do some further analysis. Because in addition to this, we also want to tell our people, we want to also give them a solution. Not just where they are and what the problem is, but also propose a solution. Still from Maslow.
Has proven that the simplest method of securing a silent weapon and gaining control of the public is to keep the public undisciplined and ignorant of basic systems principles on the one hand, while keeping them confused, disorganized, and distracted with matters of no real importance on the other hand. This is achieved by 1. Disengaging their minds, sabotaging their mental activities, providing a low-quality program of education in mathematics, logic, systems design and economics, and discouraging technical creativity. 2, engaging their emotions, increasing their self-indulgence and their indulgence in emotional and physical activities by A, unrelenting emotional affrontations and attacks, brackets, mental and emotional rape, by way of a constant barrage of sex, violence and wars in the media, especially the TV and the newspapers. B, giving them what they desire, in excess, junk food for thought, and depriving them of what they really need. 3, rewriting history and law and subjecting public opinion to the deviant creation, which I take to mean don't tell them who they really are, thus being able to shift their thinking from personal needs to highly fabricated outside priorities. These preclude their interest in and discovery of the silent weapons of social automation technology. The general rule, it says, is that there is profit in confusion. The more confusion, the more profit. Therefore, the best approach is to create problems and then offer solutions. Diversion summary. Media. Keep the adult public attention diverted away from real social issues and captivated by matters of no real importance. Schools. Keep the young public ignorant of real mathematics, real economics, real law, and real history. Entertainment. Keep the public entertainment below a 6th grade level. Work. Keep the public busy, 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 with no time to think, back on the farm with the other animals.
My country people, we will send this message.
Thank you. Stop this. Yes. So, Doc, that is a psychoanalysis of the Maslow pillar and where our people are kept down that pyramid. Distract them, 6th grade entertainment, play AFCON, do Mount Cameroon race, don't teach them, change the curriculum in school, change the history, change the laws, take them away from science, technology, math, which is what provokes critical thinking, which is what we have been, without the tell and so we have to get back to critical thinking. This is what our people need to master, Doc. Go ahead. I want you give your analysis.
Yeah, with Paulo Freire in the Pedagogy of the Oppressed call that, right? Like banking system of education. That is, you deposit into the people's brain exactly which way, as you go deposit money for inside bank account. So you deposit in their brain which you really want them for no. So that it will serve the interest of the oppressor. And that is serve the oppressor. That is as opposed to the problem-solving model, where the people, the way that they, for their problem, like the system that it talks in our problem, this, let's engage on finding solutions to how we can solve it. You can see this even for our own level. Even the charlatans, the way that they call themselves the leaders for inside our revolution, right? What do they want? Now, forgive you, wait from their own mind. They think, say this.
Yes.
But with the things, whether they want something you believe, right? But then that the issue, but then they are actually victims of the tools of La République. When at the second tool, when at the confusion, that way the La République is so on for miss. And there is so on for miss by showing these idiots a little bit of money, a little bit bread, right? Of course. And then they start taking the bread and forgetting the worthier matters of the real freedom. The real things that you fit really sacrifice for your people and get a system that would allow our people, to liberate itself and live up to its true greed with the intellect and the God-given talent and resources the way we get. It'd be very important for our people that would really understand this critical concept. Somebody does say with brothers like that, who needs enemies, right? La République knows this, so I can't find the most morally decadent amongst you, and then maybe promise them some tawdry posts or promise them some little contracts here and there or whatever nonsense, and then sow confusion. And when I see, say, when I be a little bit, try to come up, organize and so on, then I create some kind of disinformation, send them out to Una. Then Una be confused, Una start beat up on ourselves. And like Sun Tzu said in The Act of War, the many are those that are united, the few are those that are divided. Ambazonians and therefore really, but the good thing, as you said, Arthur, it looks like more spend time telling our people not just about the problems, but how they can get around this, right? Because it turns out to me, you must know about this Parapato principle, right? The Parapato principle, it talks about this. So 20% of the, 80% of the effect it be produced by 20% of the cost. We essentially, with the Parapato, the talk say, in every society, you get a very small number of people where it drive the major changes. And those major small number of people fit be the people there that watch we for this town hall hour. Yes, the people that we, and then they educate ourselves. For spot these things, for start telling ourselves that we are no longer, first of all, we'll organize ourselves around structures that will not be given, that will not give to the machination of the enemy. Number two, the higher values. We can deny ourselves bread today for the interest of the people tomorrow. Number three, we can then, as a people, really be able to look back and say, and figure out a way to spot the thieves amongst us and discard them, build better structures. We don't really need too many people for really do these things. So maybe you continue, but these are my thoughts around this. For talks is structure, and really making sure to say we keep our eyes open and on the ball.
No, Doc, you be right. I want me a producer because Maslow be present a guide 10 ways to frame, because you talk about framing the issue. I want me producer put on the screen the first picture of the framing trap. So if we understand what you explain to our people, Doc, what you mean about framing, planting things in our mind and how we look at the problem. So producer, if you put us the framing trap, the psychological setup that affects decision makers, if you put that up on the screen for us. So if we explain to our people how La République, they try to use, this one was the hidden traps in decision making by John Hammond and some other people. But basically, what this theory they talk now say, people them, they take a problem, and instead of looking for solutions to the problem, they try for couch this problem to the solution where fit their mind, in their minds, not the solution of the problem, as we see in this struggle. A lot of people then believe, say, they don't already get the solutions to the problem. And they need to look the problem in the bigger picture. They frame the problem for suit weighted them. They think, say, now the solution. So they create the problem through the lens of the solution in their mind, as opposed to what the problem really be. And the reason that way for town hall, we don't start to do the geopolitical analysis. We will get the second part on our schedule yesterday, but what will be discussed about will go on for long. I will not be looked, because our problems are not just Bia and Yaoundé and the French. There are a lot of other tentacles, a lot of other geopolitical interests where they play inside Southern Cameroons, using the Bia regime as a proxy. So if we not if we not get out of this framing trap and framing the problem as only Yaoundé, because that is what suits our psychology and who we get for fight, and only be, then we will never win this fight. Producer, you there? All right. If producer no get the images ready, Doc, I just take only about 4 of Maslow's recommendation on a guide to problem framing, where I think we put and get for no. And one of them where he talk about now for frame the problem as a network of relationships, which way I think that way our people will be talk about yesterday, Doc, for town hall. Because if we construct a network of everyone involved in the situation, then we go identify this network of relationships where it is the people with the best competencies of these different pillars where you be talk about, Doc, the diplomacy, the defense, the communication, the humanitarian side, all this different. So we get to look at the problem, we get to look for this network and not just one problem where it be solved by one solution. We have to break it out. He also talked about framing the problem as a cluster of similar items based on intuitive relationships. That is, we get to organize information will be relevant to these different patterns and these different parts of the network. And then he talked about prioritizing. Like right now, we know so we get humanitarian problem and our fighters on the ground. We have to back our fighters. We get to then prioritize these different issues. And the last one where one more we talk about, Doc, and then you will come in. Maslow also recommend the other point of framing the problem with the end in mind. So we know so we want our liberation. That is the end goal. We want to free Southern Cameroons. We want a free, just country. If we frame them with the end in mind, then we start work backwards. How do we achieve this end, right? That now allow us for breakdown in very, very logical steps, as opposed to some people sitting in the diaspora and thinking, say, they go formulate a solution to a problem way or a vision way. They never set, they never set clear goals. They never set a network. They never prioritize them. They never get the patterns and they never get the network relationships. Everybody wants to think, say, naive is solve them, and now only a group will solve them. And when somebody does something for a group where it not belong to them, that group becomes, an antithesis to them. Yes, and then they start attack. So I don't know what you get for talk, Doc. Then we'll go pivot from this to the last part.
Right. I just want to, pick back on that stuff, because that particular last point where you make, that the point that the most important, and one of the most important one then for me, that in terms of that framing, and then framing with the end in mind. Because I don't go, when I ask people, say, what do you fight for? Some people, they go tell me, say, independence. And I'll say, if you fight for independence, for independence of Amazonia, then you define a half of the fight. Because when you get independence, we realize we don't want independence for the sake of just getting a 55th country in Africa. We want independence where it will really bring along with that independence a change in the life situation of the people. Something where when people that look back, they will say, we are happy we did this, even if no matter the number of lives that we lost, irrespective of the cost that we paid, we are happy we did this. But if you frame this as a freedom, then the problem about framing it as independence, it allows charlatans to tell you, say, oh, because we just want independence, we need just a strong man for take us
exactly
there.
Exactly.
So this is the argument that a lot of these charlatans have been making, a lot of these false prophets who have appropriated the revolution. This is the argument they have been making. Even though I'm leading you, and where in the world they are talking about control, they are really not talking about your freedoms. So what is really in these people's mind, the reason why they fight against La République, now because they not get access to the cake, right? Not because they feel, not because they think Ambazonians not get access to, not get control of their lives, for do with their lives what they deem necessary. Because that's essentially the reason between freedom and control. And that's the point. Yes. So that when you frame it as freedom, then ultimately you start see, say, your freedom is not supposed to encroach to another person in freedom. And therefore you start thinking, say, this or the fight, it get to take a whole different, in a whole different route in your mind. They talk, say this, so if you don't know play where you go, any road feed lead you there. right? So you get for then, when you start thinking independence, you start saying, freedom. You start saying, for freedom, it means they have to be democracy, or they have to be competency. Like, forget a system where it be a merit-based system, but at the same time, a system where it will allow not the winner take all, allow for peace that is actually not graveyard peace as much, or negative peace as Martin Luther King will call them, but positive peace based on the fact that people that will be happy, they will see justice, peace predicated on justice. And for you to start do that, you start the war, you start fighting now in a completely different way. And that is why you could see the program where Yamagi become for talk about post-war reconstruction. Right? Because if you have started thinking about that, if you have not started thinking about the tools that are necessary to achieve freedom, to achieve that post-war reconstruction, to get peace, to get all of these that you are doing, you are just doing it. If you get there, you will get there by error. And so that's why that thing becomes critically important. And when you go back and talk to somebody who tells you that say he want independence and he be a strong man, and you for independence, you only need a strong man to lead you there. Tell that person to go check their brains. That they don't know. That's not what Amazonians are fighting for. We are fighting for freedom.
Okay, Doc, from what you said, Mo will just get a producer, make it put a producer. If you put up that point number 9, the one where Doc just emphasized as the most important in this Maslow solution. If you get them for screen, just put them and then zoom them. Mo will just I'll just get the first lines out to our people, so that just for tie in would wait till you talk, Doc, about freedom. Producer, if you did it, and then we'll pivot to the last part. I think we don't even go. Yes, we just get a few minutes for the last part. Producer, you did it. Oh no, the next one, the one number 9, the last point. This one at the framing. No, the next go. A guide to problem framing, 10 ways. Point number 9. Anyway, Doc, may we just yes. Okay, yes. Zoom in on this one. May come on the screen, so our people they feel see them. But Doc, this particular one on the screen is to your point, because if you see where you said cover stories and this involve working backwards from a clearly articulated vision. This helps teams identify the steps needed to reach the goal, as well as the problem to be solved. So I think that the point that where you be the make, Doc, about identifying freedom as what we need, as our goal. And then we start identify backwards the steps. That way we get a very clear pathway, and wherever we see and say you need to add up to achieve that goal of freedom, we get for revisit our strategy. So I think that one, I think today's show be somewhat academic, but we still think say it be important. May our people understand. Thank you, producer. So we'll just go now, Doc, to the last part of this program. And we bring this one up today because one of the things we will learn, not just from town hall yesterday, all along, where we done to challenge people with all this Sako debacle and say things that don't happen, wrong things that don't happen, and we need to speak up. And there was always this doctrine of, not the struggle. If you talk, you bring division. If you talk, you help La Republique. If you talk, and that one now, people they decide for no talk, thinking say if we just sit, wake up one day, the people then where they do the wrongs, they mislead this struggle, they go wake up from their slumber, their head go clear, and they go change. And that has been wrong for the past 5-6 years. And so we know if we continue the sit down, the tolerate the wrongdoings, malfeasance, we need discipline. Because that malfeasance, it then turn the people against the struggle. Where now the people now, we instead keep them at that lowest level where the people now they fight now for survival. They fight for that bread. instead of the key, as Maslow pyramid show we, would it help La République for keep our people in destitution, which is where they don't already do one without our help. And we get groups that out there where they continue to do this, and we need to address them because it is becoming a cancer in our struggle, and it is turning the people away. Just as where the Israelites, they get a point where they want stone Moses, where they don't get water for days, that they ask Moses, say, why you will bring me out of slavery? When we can't die here with our livestock, you for better leave we for Egypt, where God therefore go move water for rock before the people they kill Moses. Our people are getting to that point where in trying to get their freedom, they don't get to the point now where they almost say it is better, because we see what happened for Allah Bukam. The people were tired of the kidnapping. They were being terrorized. Business people were being harassed. Where they turned against those guys. And for night, La République can't take them out. And now the people even feel more free than they did under those guys when they were in that camp. And the groups, and where they send these boys out, what they will do, they'll put out a video, talk some things, play flag, do this, oh, our generals, our fighters were killed. But no one addressed the root cause. They think our people are so dumb, so blind, and nobody would speak up. So I want my producer play some activities, kidnapping, continue kidnapping by the ADF Agovc. Because we don't reach a point now where we will call out people. Any man waiting say would cause confusion, okay, talk to them. If they stop this malfeasance, we will stop to talk about them. But no can tell we say for call these things out. Because when you call people them behind the scenes on the phone, they think say you be weak. What are you going to do? They didn't even take your calls. They did snub you. These guys feel say that they own this struggle and they will do whatever they like. May they do whatever they like, but not in our name. Now for them, we will draw the line. So I want my producer play that video where Capo Daniel put out, where they go kidnap a plumber, and I want me to follow on with those teachers, where the ADF, they go kidnap. Then we'll go address this Cho Ayaba group, the ADF and the Agovc. And people that way they not be happy, hard luck. We are going to call them out. Producer, when you get those videos, please just play them, because the nonsense is
my country people. We will send this message for Kamwata, Eneo, PMUC, and all the companies they never yet pay their liberation tax. Now, it's social responsibility for una for pay una own due. We not go allow una make una they exploit our resources, exploit our people them without we getting back anything in return. This money they goes directly for fight for our people them, for secure our land and for gain their freedom, and for provide economic space for, even for una company them, for be able for work for day tomorrow. So any man where they work for Kamwata, we don't talk so una no go collect bill, una no go even give bill for Eneo as well, where we never pay una liberation tax. Kamwata they owe 100 million for liberation tax for the first quarter of this year. They want a small money what they ask them for una. If una no pay, una shouldn't for una office them, una bulu beti agents una shouldn't for una office them, begin send picking for outside. Any man where it follow una instruction, we never verify what una pay una liberation tax, it do am at your own personal risk.
Okay.
Any employee go be considered a representative for that company, and he go be held.
For Agamgu,
yes.
Wait till they catch you, say wait. Talk quickly.
They catch me say they teach for that school where they teach inclusive bilingual.
Yes.
Bilingual primary school Gam.
Wait.
For government bilingual inclusive bilingual government school Gam. Never there at the
video.
Inclusive bilingual primary school Gam.
Wait, which school?
You know the poor government.
Inclusive government bilingual primary school Gam.
Go for the other part. You be who for that school? Come back. You be who for that school?
I'm the classroom teacher.
That man.
My name is
Talk for up. When I time when I drink it, when I do evil, when I voice
Agovc Sama, I'm the head teacher for inclusive government primary school in Gomram.
Man, we come here for up. Talk for all, eh?
Wait, talk you Ben here, hear that, pa.
My name is Akwa Lilian. They catch me say I dey go school for go teach for inclusive primary school in Gomugan. Government school in Gomugan.
You which tribe?
I be Batibo.
You be which tribe? You.
I be Bali.
You be Bali, eh? Go for the other next person. Yeah, for that.
My name Namba Edit. I
Okay,
teach for government
producer.
practicing school. Ngomugam.
I think we don't get the message. If you leave and so. Thank you. Doc, I want me we address this issue with Cho Lucas Ayaba, a group, and Capo Daniel. Because they don't decide, say, they go after low fruits. They go terrorize our people while we see La République soldiers, they kill, they work, and now without any kind of resistance, without fear. There was a time where they be the fear for going. And they asked for 100 million from Camwater for 1 quarter to go fight. When was the last time where ADF engaged anybody between that first Camwater manager where they be arrested and these teachers? Why they need it? And then they put out a video now threatening PWD Bamenda players, telling them, say, when the soldiers, they come, after the soldiers leave, why are they not going after the soldiers? 10 Kobo, they go after government officials, the mayors, the CPDM, the local adjutant, the divisional officer, not the poor villagers. ADF then decides, say, ransom, kidnap for ransom is the MO, and they go use any excuse. They go frame them. These are teachers. These people are barely surviving. These people are destitute. Cameroon is not even paying its own teachers. Its own teachers. They need to pay them. ADF need to go after the soldiers. Tenko go do e operation. The first thing we try about doing now for go mimime for go claim credit. Where is the SDF doing anything where they terrorize the local people them for money in the name of fighting? Why are they not going after the administrators where they enforce the La République laws? Why are they not going after the colonels, the soldiers? Are we not supposed to be fighting La République army? Are we supposed to be terrorizing our people? Water na a basic necessity where even the UN, they call for ceasefire. They did it in Yemen. They did it in Syria. They did it in Iraq. They did it in Afghanistan. What were the essentials they were taking in? Water, food, medicine, tents. If Camwater, so basically, to me personally, ADF is aiding and abetting La République. They want to give Eno and Camwater a reason for stop for provide basic necessities to our people, blame it on our fighters and not on La République. Personally, I see ADF as a terrorist organization because using destitution is a war tactic which was used in Aleppo, Syria, and it worked. ADF need to provide any source of sustenance or food or survival for the local people. If Camwater they collect money for maintain, it is right because you get for treat water, you get for treat a reservoir, you get for pay plumbers, you have to maintain the substations, you have to maintain the pipe network, you get for get the chemicals for treat the water. The people need water to survive. If Camwater today talk say, we need to pay our bills and we cannot maintain the system, is ADF able to provide water to the urban town of Bamenda? Can Cho Ayaba, Capo Daniel, Benedictwa, and Ayamba, all these people who are claiming, say, they be government, they are secretaries of state, they get war council, can they provide the basic necessities of electricity and water to the people in Bamenda? If Eno cut electricity now, people where they hospital, the general hospital, can ADF provide generators, satellite and solar systems for electricity, for basic essential? Okay, Eno shut down because they need to pay taxes. Camwater shut down because people need to pay their bills. What is ADF? What is Cho Ayaba and Capo Daniel they go do for the people in Bamenda with all the kidnapping, where the people them of Alabukam they get tired and they call in La République. That is the truth of that story. And they take a clinical operation for wipe out that camp in Alabu camp because the people were fed up with this kidnapping and terrorism from Cho Ayaba's group, the ADF and the Agovc. This thing has to be addressed. It is getting out of hand. And we want our people then, we are going to do something about this. We not just come yap on the air for call out Cho Ayaba and Capo Daniel. Producer, I want you to put up that phone number and that email address. And when we ask the people of Southern Cameroon, we will set an example. If anybody get Capo Daniel address, please send them to that phone number by WhatsApp or to that email. Make we set an example of what we can do in the diaspora for stop this nonsense. If ADF then decide, say kidnap for ransom, which is what Boko Haram does, which is what ISIS does, which is what Al-Qaeda does. If you talk saying that levy, not tax, not this, when I go teach for government school, when I do this, that is criminal. That is antithetical to what we are fighting for. We need to fight for suffer our people. We are fighting to lift our people out of this stranglehold of La République. So Cho Ayaba and the ADF, they actually help La République for turn our people against the struggle. If our people turn against the struggle, Southern Cameroonians, we are finished. We are finished. So we call on those groups the way they continue to legitimize Agovc, ADF. They are becoming, or they are, in my definition, a terrorist organization. They are terrorizing the populace. And they need to do anything. Now, AFCON can operate for Limbe. After AFCON leave, they go pay some 3 boys, then they go stand for bridge. This is FACO Brigade. Terrorize people about 11 February. After 11 February, they were nowhere to be found. They go run Mount FACO race. Next thing we will go here on the 18th of May, Ghost Town. There is no 20th May. And then after that, they go disappear. Then when people then like 10 Kobo and our dedicated fighters, they do something, they go run now for go on social media, for go claim say Nadia operation. We cannot be fooled. We cannot be fooled, people. And we want to set an example. And we'll go start with Capo Daniel. So if anybody know where Capo Daniel he address and he contact there, please send up. We send a clear example of how we go stop this nonsense. Since some people then say they can sit in the safe haven of diaspora, people who are not working. We just see the example of Sako. We hear yesterday, Sako was getting about $15,000 a month. He was getting $7,200 in salary. They will pay rent $2,500. They will pay a driver $1,000. No work. What is Cho Ayaba doing? Nothing. And they continue to deceive the people. They deceive the people. They mislead the people. When was the last ADF operation? Always we go see, they will go put out an IED in a populated area, as what they do from Benguide. Like people can't kill people them. Why they not go put the IED in the middle of nowhere for save people their lives, so that they feel make noise, and then turn around and terrorize the people in the name of levies? ADF no get any mandate. They go talk to War Council. What War Council? In the name of who? Southern Cameroonians. If we want to collect money in the name of Southern Cameroonians, we Southern Cameroonians go stand up and say, not in our name. Because there is no accountability, there is no transparency, there is no structure. When they ask 100 million francs CFA for 1 quarter, in whose name? What you want to do? What you want to do? Capodi claims say he's a filtration engineer. Filtrating what? Where? Where you do work? These are YouTubers. Every day is one stupid YouTube clip, so that people then, if you go click on them, so that YouTube can send you a check at the end of the month. That's what you guys are doing for a living. Get a job, for Christ's sake. Instead of continue to manipulate our people, lie to them, terrorize them, send out these boys to go and kidnap business people, then they be the complaint to we because they are afraid. ADF guys, they be go there every day, go and harass the poor farmers, the poor shopkeepers, kidnap teachers. These people are trying to feed their family. Now when they go kidnap a plumber, how much is that plumber making? Waiting when that offer that plumber in exchange. Because Capo Daniel, Choyaba them, Bennett Dikwa them, Ayamba them, all them, they are in the diaspora. Their children are going to school. They are living on contributions from Southern Cameroonians to pay their rents, to do everything. And then they punish the people on the ground. Go after the governors. Go after Okala Bilai. Go after Valerinka. Go after Elele Afrik. Go after the GOs. Leave these poor people who are just trying to survive alone. I know that I rant a lot, dog, but please go ahead.
Oh man, you see, there are some smiles that are really like smiles of anguish because the tears are dried out. And that's why sometimes you get some of these things and then you just cannot, I mean, this is gut-wrenching. You know, I know you've actually covered it all, you've touched it all. But for see those poor women, and sometimes maybe the people the way the young men them kind of sounded like they were young men that were being used, you know, to intimidate them there on that video. It sounded like those people, those young men then, if you not think time, na their mommy that, na their mommy, na their parents, and that way that they intimidate them. So where somebody does set them after, and they are teaching those children where that they teach. Now we begin there. Now la Republic begin. Now Bazonia begin. And when I be hear about that bilingual, that school, they're like not really a school. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the school for maybe
special
like
needs. For handicapped children,
needs kids,
special needs
right?
kids,
special needs.
Yes.
How can you are asking me to indulge in an exercise or maybe cognitive dissonance, as they'll say, for talk about freedom and doing that in the same page? And that is why I was telling you about the issue where we did frame the issue of independence versus freedom. People can see it right there because these guys are going to go out and their justification is that we're going to get independence at all costs. You can't get that independence. The independence where you get and throw that cost, now a recipe for disaster. And these people are false prophets. They cannot even take us there. That is actually to start with. And I know, so I know at least way to be named. Capo Daniel talk about all of these things. Now he voice that way. Now he show those videos.
Yes,
right?
Ngong Emmanuel. The real name is Ngong Emmanuel. Ngong Emmanuel.
So now he named that right. Now he named that way. He show him. So if actually, I have for no, like all the people that were that they follow, where they be say that they claim said they be leaders. That is the box stops with the leader. If you don't agree what these people are doing, come out and disown these people. Then you have to start somewhere. Yes, come out, take a position and say they are not doing this thing in your name. Because once you don't do that, it means you also you also consented, also you agree with what they are doing. I mean, as you made mention, it's not really, there are some vital services where even if you be actually get to a point where we get our revolution, I mean, if those people that were that demand that water, that be actually be in La Republic, and we never get enough technicians for take over, you will get those people, use those people then for continue for Mando services until we're eventually able to train, replacement. Because this is an essential service, water. And when you, yes. I mean, so the whole thing is so offensive, so repugnant for a system. I mean, for anybody, for claims, say, they be freedom fighters and then engage into these kinds of nefarious activities. It's just unconscionable. I just not even know.
Makes sense because first of all, just the logic, Doc. First of all, for run a water system in a town as big as Bamenda, it requires capital. I don't know if these guys they don't go school. I don't know if they are educated, right? It requires capital to run a water system, to run a reservoir, to run a pipe network, to run substations. To be people have to pay. It cannot be free. We not get a government way be that rich way if you provide free essential services to the population. Maybe in Libya, maybe in Dubai, maybe in Abu Dhabi, maybe, but we are not there yet. So for us people then say no pay your bill, think you say water will just come free. It is dumb. It is stupid. That is not how it happens in sub-Saharan Africa. No African country is there yet in sub-Sahara. Say electricity will come free. And somebody has to run those operations. So people have to pay.
Right. And I don't make this argument again. You know, the last time we played one of these criminal acts, they went outside and edited some of the small little clip videos that we had and posted, they are collecting war tax. No, I'm not against fundamentally people that for pay a war tax, but that war tax will be paid by the people in diaspora. That's who needs to pay that war tax.
Exactly.
The people, all of us in diaspora, now we're supposed to pay that war tax. When you go down to ground zero, there are very, very few people who are rich enough to be able to contribute. There are other people who do a lot of things. We are talking now so what they go on in Ukraine. You see how a lot of people that they give back, that they give into their war effort, right? Some people that they just do, where they do not tell us that they make now the military way. Some people that way that we do different activities, that they do different activities for help the revolution. It is not, if we should done, me and you, if we should done for diaspora, would pay $1,000 per month. It is nothing compared to the lives of those people that they put their lives on the line. Compared to those people that way that they go act like security, that they go act like intelligence. Now they go feed these people. He hide those people that make sure say the enemy not get to them. So this is the reason why sometimes like that person did talk about the kind of education where it allow you not to use your brain, right? Like allow you for not use your gray matter. They just give you all this prosaic thinking.
Yes.
And that is exactly where we find ourselves. And that's what is actually killing this revolution. And the point is that all of these people come in with some very fanciful titles, secretary of this,
the War Council, Commander in Chief,
and so forth.
Yes,
and they make a lot of this loud-sounding nonsense. You cannot be the monster that you want to slay, right? La Republique get military. No more take when in every war you calculate. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? How can I turn my enemy's strength into its weaknesses? And how can I turn some of my weaknesses into strength? If we look on just two fronts, La Republique get a stronger military than we. La Republique get more money than we do. Yeah? So, but on the other hand, we get truth on our side, right? We get motivation on our side. We get fighting on our terrain. Not on our side, on our land. And so we are defending our own land with truth, but there is just too much that these people can take. And so when you then start actually go after our own people, you are taking away that motivation. That person where you deceive, so maybe that mommy where you deceive, so maybe you begin to there for inside for some place, it will be in the fight, right? That papa where you make and so. Maybe not the people in that way that for get information given or any other person. What it tell you say this so in doing all of these things, it will actually motivate it will actually motivate these people for do anything. They will lose the motivation. And that
was why yes.
And that is the point.
Go ahead.
Even though at the very moral level, it is completely wrong to do this, but on a tactical level, it is even more stupid. So
and that was why the Alabukam camp was wiped out. That's why Alabukam camp was wiped out. And that's the truth they don't want to tell people. And the truth that way we go tell our people on this show. So we tell these boys them, where we the worker in the name way Ngong Emmanuel, they call themselves say Capo Daniel, Wucho Ayaba, and Bennett the Kwa and Ayamba them, they call when they promote, they tell when for go to kidnap people, terrorize people. No when I remember say they be wiped out when I friend them. And it will happen too for Una, including those people then where the other one the way they kidnap for inside Bafut Day. May we not stop this kidnapping for ransom because some people they should for diaspora the full Una or Una think say Una hold gun. These people then where they don't get gun, they go turn against Una and they go call Ekelebe And if anybody here for their place in the right senses, it go do the same thing. So we want to end this segment because we know say Agovc and ADF, they get their friend and where they talk for them. We call on the leadership of the CDN, where they talk with Cho Ayaba. We call on the leadership of IG Care, where they talk to Cho Ayaba. We call on the leadership of Consortium, where they talk to Cho Ayaba and these ADF people them. We had the whole meetings with them, whether it's in Toronto, whether it's in Stuttgart, wherever we had the meet. May we not tell them for cease and desist from these terrorist activities against our people. We on this show will not go relent. We don't put that number out there. We want to set an example. We not go tell when what we don't do so far. But we need for pinpoint where this particular Ngong Emmanuel Day. We just need that address to put an end to this nonsense. Maybe when it happened to he and Southern Cameroonians they see, this nonsense go stop. Because when we talk and nothing no happen, as we see with Sako, even when people then thief, you call them out, because there is no consequences, they don't stop. They see us like fools. The same as well la République they see we. Vous allez faire quoi? Now the attitude that. So there has to be a price to pay. And since all these people, the way they claim say they are leaders, they are groups, they are this, all man be so chicken for call out what is wrong, we go do one. And we go appeal to our people of Southern Cameroons. So make we not give up hope of this struggle because of a few bad apples. We don't spend this show for explain to Una where we are on this pyramid. Where La République won't keep we. We are in jail. We are second-class citizens. And they give us a little bread just so we can survive. We will get the town hall where we'll be showing how Port Biadan sell our resources. Ekinde is the latest victim. And they extort our gas, our oil till 2066 or 2044 for 1.5 billion pounds, which is chicken change. Sent to Equatorial Guinea and then money paid into some offshore account. And Cameroon get an off-budget account. Women say that account is not reported in finance. It is not in our banking system. It is somewhere on some tax haven where we need to see them. And from there, they get money for finance their bill. And most of the foreign companies where they get government contracts in Cameroon are paying money into this off-budget account. Where we go come to that at a future time. May we see. And then we try to liberate ourselves. And then there are some people where they spend their time for torture our people in the name of tax and this and that and that. It is wrong. So we don't give the warning. When anybody for ADF fall into big trouble, may they not talk say some Southern Cameroonians in their way, na agents for La République. They destroy our struggle. We don't give the warning to Agovc and ADF. Tapo Daniel Cho Ayaba. Publicly, not in secret. Nobody no go call them for warn them. We don't tell the people them where they talk to them, say, warn them. When it happened, may nobody no talk says on Southern Cameroonians and they where they did against the struggle. Now, agent of La République, see what that happened for these people them. Would they give the warning now? They torture and torment our people, and it is time to put an end to that nonsense. You get to stop. I think on that note, Doc, we'll go end this show. We want to thank the producer. We don't keep you for long. Yeah. Thank you very much, producer. Sorry, but we'll be able to address this issue and send a very clear message out there. Say, time has come to stop this nonsense in the diaspora. Doc, I don't know if you get anything to talk before we let our producer go.
No, I mean, thank you. I think you said it all. And I just, again, called on the different leadership of the different factions for things like this. So if you want actually tell the world, say you're not a lot, so you're not sympathize with all this, some of these things that would be quite frankly criminal, you should come out and call them out and call the people who are doing this out. Because once you don't come out and call them out, then it tax you along with them. And so that's what leadership is all about. Leadership is not just, when it's not when the going is good. You get to be accountable for your successes as well as your own failures. And that includes the failures of your subordinates. So anybody where they do this thing, kidnapping can never be good for us. Torturing our own people can never be good for us. We have, the only way we beat La Republique is by telling the world and telling our people that as we are fighting a just cause, we will employ just means and make life better for our people and be the moral light, an antithesis of what La Republique is, which is an evil gangsteric regime that is actually killing our people. That is exactly the contrast we will get for sure the entire world and to ourselves, and commit that. If you cannot free yourself, if you haven't looked up at the man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror, and free that person, you can't even think about freeing anybody else. And freedom supposes that you start thinking, first of all, how can I speak the truth? How can I liberate myself to be able to tell myself even about things that I may not really even like to hear? And truth can be, it gets to come so natural as breathing. And nobody, will like, if you tell me, say you would like your papa, your mommy, your sister, your brother for being treated and intimidated in the way that those people are being intimidated in that audio, and then you tell me, say, be right. Or say your brother, where if it the work, the struggle for survive, you fit also go like for see, maybe almost also humiliated. Like that guy, he just walk as an Amazonian, working in his own country. And that is siphon their resources them. And then the person, they get a small, meager salary. And instead for encourage you, for get way to where you need them, for fit the number of people. And you will see that person, if we likely say with all the displaced people there, where they flop for Bamenda, that person is actually using that money and feeding 3, 4, or maybe 5 or 6, or even 10 different other Amazonians who might be victims of this war. And so as we fight the war and concentrate on defeating the enemy, we must also make sure that we reduce the burden on our people to the barest minimum. And let truth be our guide. Let morality be our guide. We cannot become the monster we want to slay. That's what I leave you, Amazonians, to spot these things out and take and put an end to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you so much. We want to thank everybody. We'll go there back next Sunday with another edition of Town Hall Hour. And if these problems persist, we'll go continue the address and we'll not go stop, we'll not go relent. We will call out people then where they bring a bad name to our liberation struggle. Again, I want to apologize to studio. We don't keep Una way beyond. We thank Una, God bless Una, and we'll be with Una next Sunday. Producer, over to you.